everyone, I'm Brendan Bell and welcome to MXTV. I'm coming to you from the Baker's factory in Orlando. Now later on in the show we're going to take you around this amazing facility. But first up, let's have a look at the THOR headquarters down in San Diego. G'day everyone, well while I'm in America I thought I'd bring you to some of the places I'm lucky enough to visit, and one of them's right here at the THOR headquarters. Now this year THOR's 50 years old and is founded by four-time World 250 motocross champion Thorsten Hallmann. Thorsten came at the request of Husqvarna to help promote the bike and introduce it to the US market, and Thorsten completely dominated the Americans on the track. He saw a hole in the MX market and began importing pants, gloves and jerseys under the brand name Thorsten Hallmann Original Racewear, and this was the beginning of THOR. G'day Josh.
Hey, how you doing?
Good mate. 50 years this year, that's an amazing achievement. You guys have carried on the legend. Really, THOR is really just all about gear.
Definitely anybody who is looking to throw a leg over and get out there and get in the dirt, we make product for that person from head to toe. We've lived in this scene our entire lives, and some of us still race and some of us ride just for fun and pleasure cruise and stuff like that and take it easy. But you know, at the end of the day, we get to talk about dirt bikes every day. It's pretty great.
Well, why don't we go and have a look around this fabulous place?
Yeah, I'll show you around. What we're looking at here is kind of, yeah, definitely you could call it a shrine in a way. You know, addressing Thorsten's accomplishments throughout the years, and of course starting, you know, back into the early 60s, his world titles. You know, Thorsten would show up wearing goat skin when the Americans were like, what is this material, you know? Not that goats didn't exist back then, but it was this newfangled thing to the scene.
I find with the iconic brands that are out there, they're the ones that stick with their riders, the ones that, you know, riders have been in their gear for umpteen years, so quite a few years. Is that something you work hard on to do?
Yeah, again, comes down to the relationship, where if you really have the same passion, the same direction, the same vision, the same goal, if you're trying to achieve the same thing, which is the benefit to both, it's symbiotic, great. It really comes down to chemistry. It's just like any relationship.
Yeah. Mate, this is where you should have brought me first off. This is where I'm comfortable. Look at the gear here.
There's a lot going on here. What we're looking at here is our showroom. This is a working space for us here, and what we like to do is really lay out current or upcoming seasons worth of product. The Prime and Prime Fit, and now the Prime Pro collection. We've been working on this for quite some time, and it's been this evolutionary process largely derived from the, you know, inspiration and ideas and concepts that are shared with our riders. Our riders come to us and say, this is what I need, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Prime Pro is the pinnacle of what we produce for our athletes, whereas the Pulse is a lot more of that traditional fit and feel, more traditionally what motocrossers have come to know in racewear. One of the great things, a lot of fun about this Prime kit right now, this season, as you can see, is what we have our Savage collection that we're working on.
VMX is starting to get really big in Australia. We're starting to get a lot of guys with retro gear. They can wear modern gear and still look pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on modern chassis, modern materials, so you can go race in it, or you can just wear it out to wherever you're going.
We're in the pits in it.
Whatever you want to do.
Be comfortable. This is a really cool room to me, mate. All the logos on the tops.
What you're seeing here are athlete names, numbers, sponsor logos, and how we apply them, as you can see Chelsea working on here, to the THOR racewear.
So in this room, you'll be building your clothing, obviously your safety gear as well. But what the guys out there want to know, I think, is how many years in advance are you guys? Like, so what would you be working on now? 2020, 2030? You know, what is it?
It depends on what type of product you're talking about and what the requirements are and certifications, the development time needed to get it done. If you're talking hard goods and you know, more of protective products in a manner of speaking, you know, sometimes the development can be a lot longer to that. Whereas if it's as simple as any soft goods, whether it's a pant or a jersey that's an existing chassis, that simply becomes, you know, just a design issue. What does it need to look like? What sort of color story are we telling? And then go from there. Now, to answer your question more specifically, what we're talking about today is the launch of 2019, which happens July of 2018. Yeah. Well, at this point in time, we're working well into 2020.
Josh, thanks for showing me the heart and soul of THOR, mate. I can't believe how far ahead you guys have got to work. It's amazing.
For sure.
Absolutely. And what do we have looking here?
Don't worry about that one. We'll talk about it next year.
Now let's take a closer look at Suzuki's RMZ 450. Okay, let's have a closer look at something we should be all doing before and after a ride, and that is applying chain lube to your chain. Now I use Modal off-road chain lube because it's specifically for off-road chains. Now because it's made for dirt bikes, it reduces friction and loss of power, increases chain durability, has no effect on O-rings, X-rings or Z-rings, and it also has a solvent to eliminate old residue and to penetrate into the links. And it's fluorescent yellow, which makes it really easy to tell that you're putting it on the chain. So go down to your local dealer and check it out, the Modal off-road chain lube. You're going to use it all the time.
Is your family like my family? Upset, sad, disappointed? We can fix that, and just in time for Christmas too. Turn that frown upside down with some MXTV merchandise. Get Dad a stubby holder, and there's an MXTV shirt for all the family. And hold it on.
Welcome back to MXTV, thanks to Modal Oils. Well, we told you we'd give you a look around this amazing facility, the Baker's Factory. So why don't you come with us and check it out. Well, Aaron, thanks very much for joining us, mate. It's great to be here again. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, Brendan, as I say, been a little too long, I would say, but always great to see you guys come and visit, and welcome back. And yeah, man, we'll get to show you around and see a couple of the improvements that we've made here at Baker's Factory as the evolution continues.
Well, mate, this hasn't changed a great deal other than some different bikes here the last time.
Yeah, really looks like it's all obviously KTM here at the moment. But typically, yes, Marvin, obviously Dunge's retired since the last time you were here. So normally it's Marvin, Jason and Zach
that are in this garage.
That are in this garage at the moment. My eyes are not good enough to see around the whole track all the time. So, you know, thanks to this product, it is a big part of our program with guiding us and the riders to where they're actually struggling, where they are slow, where there are inconsistencies. Obviously, the heart rate ties to it. We can see already just consistency of laps of what was going on, and obviously you always want to try and see them pretty close.
And that's your NASCAR man.
And that's my NASCAR guy, Trevor Bain. The other interesting, well, he never left me a helmet. And the interesting thing with Hurlings is he made sure he put the lap time that these boys have to get.
But you've changed the track.
That's the thing. So,
I like that. Mate, this is a big change. What are you talking about from last time we were here?
it still hasn't been finished, Brendan. So, yeah, we just developed the upstairs.
Yeah.
And obviously we haven't finished the stairs yet, but the plan for upstairs will be all the cardio equipment and testing.
Yep.
And then that'll open up a lot of space down below for just the particular machines. These are like, and you can adjust these. So this is like basically foot pegs.
Oh, right.
And you got to balance, and you can adjust the power. And then he's got to balance on the balls of his feet because you want that to be the position on the motorcycle.
It really helps because once you start going there, you know
so
you're
it
over the
gets you
tipping
back.
point. Yeah.
As you can see, I do like unique and interesting apparatus. This is what's cool about this guy. No matter what you're doing, you can always knock out a quick little core workout. The goal here is to get it equal between front and back. The goal here, I don't want the guys riding the same old track every year. So if we can make changes and get that going, it's always better and helpful. So the goal is to create that variety and give them the tools they need to better their skills. And that's I think a helpful area for them to work on during their sort of the mid-season. Okay, so this is the 250 side, then sort of the new addition to Baker's factory. Each guy has their own closet to store their stuff. We've got Tyler, who's typically obviously here with the guys. He can go over what he sees on the track, the filming. He's also got the same Polar stuff. So actually this is typically the Troy Lee KTM team 250. And we can do up to 4 motorcycles. There's basically space for 4 bays.
Mate, it's amazing facility.
Thanks, Brendan.
Absolutely
Yeah,
amazing.
I
And
appreciate that.
Next time we come back, it'll be changed again. You'll have all different things going on again.
Good.
Mate, I love it. This is obviously dirt biker's dream.
No, well, thank you, and I appreciate you guys coming along, and look forward to the next visit.
Now let's have a closer look at the THOR Prime Pro gear. It has an athletic cut for a performance-orientated fit and feel. It's extremely lightweight to reduce hindrance and fatigue. The material promotes flexibility and durability, and it's the only pant on the market with an inner compression short. It really is Prime Pro for the pro rider. Now let's take a closer look at Kawasaki's all-new KX450 with Jeremy McGrath.
The all-new 2019 KX450 motorcycle was designed with one thing in mind: to put riders on top of the podium. New suspension contributes to improved handling, performance, balance, and traction. The new coil spring front forks provide amazing feel and progressive dampening, while the rear suspension has been updated to improve overall performance, thanks to a new swing arm, shock, and linkage. Conquering the rough sections with ease is a game changer when it comes to quicker lap times. Enhanced braking ability on the KX450 will give you the power to brake deeper into the corners. With the ability to brake later, you'll be confident and comfortable at higher speeds.
In today's quick tip, brought to you by King Chrome, we're going to look at the King Chrome creeper seat. Now this is just something that I thought it makes my life a lot easier in the garage when I'm working with one of these. Now the reason being is if I want to do my spokes, it's a lot easier than kneeling down or trying to sit down and do your spokes. You've got this to wheel around on. Even when you're working on the engine or you're working on the chain or you're putting a wheel on or anything like that, it's so much easier with one of these. You can keep your tools in it. It's got a spot for tools. It's got a spot for cans and other beverages as well. This thing is fantastic. It's made my life a lot easier in the garage. I reckon you ought to go out and check it out. If you're in the garage a lot like we are, working on bikes and maintaining bikes, always doing things like spokes, chains, and the rest of it, they're a daily manual thing that you need to do to keep the maintenance up on your bike. Have a look at one of these. It makes your life a lot easier, a lot better on your back too.
We're here at Park 4MX testing the all-new 2019 model Kawasaki KX450. Now literally the only thing that remains the same on this bike from the 2018 model is the front fender. So what we're going to do, we're going to break it down into what I classify as the big important changes and what I felt had the best effect out there on the track. Now there's a couple of very obvious ones, of course, the electric start and the hydraulic clutch. Now the Kawasaki KX450 started first time every time for me. And likewise, I even started it a few times in gear, no problem whatsoever. Now I want to move on now to the hydraulic clutch. Wow, I have to be honest and say here, this is my favourite clutch on any of the 450s that I've ever ridden. It's got exceptionally good feel to it. I really like this clutch and had an absolute ball with it. It's so light for a 450 clutch as well, very impressive. It's a lot slimmer than what it used to be. You need next door to no effort to get in the right seating position to go through a corner. So I've never come across a bike that has a flatter seat profile than the new Kawasaki. After a few laps though, man, it makes the job so easy to sit down and go through rut. It really is a breeze for sure. We're going from one of the worst sets of forks produced to what is now considered one of the benchmarks in forks in motocross, and of course it's the 49mm Showa spring cartridge fork. It is so predictable, it works exceptionally well, and overall you've got yourself an exceptional handling package right here. This thing is a monster right off the bottom into the mid-range. You can pull a taller gear. This is the kind of bike that you can get out on a supercross track if you want. Like I did today, I normally don't like to get out there on a supercross track, but I thought, hey, this thing's got that much torque, I didn't even need to think about changing the rear sprocket. It'll pull you out of the corner in a taller gear, but out on the motocross track, that just makes your life so much easier. A couple of other notable mentions, Kawasaki now with their 450 have got the biggest rear disc rotor out of all of the 450s out there, and you really notice that with that rear stopping power. And of course the adjustable foot peg positioning and handlebars with where your bar mounts screw into that top triple clamp. The only people that do that with a production bike, another great thing for Kawasaki there. And just to wrap up, I have to say, what an impressive bike. Overall, the thing that stands out for me, the chassis, the forks, and how this bike turns out there on the track, combined with the bottom end torque, wow, this thing's very easy to ride. And I had an absolute ball out there on the motocross track and the supercross track here. I really like the bike. So to you Kawasaki fans out there, you're going to be smiling all the way to the motorcycle shop for 2019. Okay, well thanks for joining us here on a sunny day out here at Park 4MX in Melbourne, Victoria. I've had an absolute blast riding the new 2019 Kawasaki KX450.
Well, that's all we've got for this week on MXTV. Thanks very much for joining us. They're getting Marvin's bike revved up out there. I'm getting revved up. Until next week, hold it on! Bye.